Hello, AAA students. Hope you all are doing well. As you all know, we have covered almost all the topic of Block 1, Block 2, and Block 3. This is another standard ISA 550 related party relationship and related party transaction. One of the most important ISA of your AAA examiner. Almost in every exam sitting there is a case study on the related party transaction. Most of the students did not recognize this case study in the exam, even though this is one of the most easiest standard in your AAA exam. After today's lecture, you will cover all the possibilities and the terminologies which your examiner can use in your exam if there is the related party transaction case study. Why related party relationship and transactions are very important. These are the transactions which usually happen in the entities. Why? To manipulate the financial figures. These are the close parties to whom the management, the entities pay their money or transaction between goods and services. So these are the significant transactions which always material. Either the amount is zero or it's in million, billion or in trillion. Related party transactions are always material. Why? Because of its significance importance. Let's start the lecture 8 of block 3 related parties IDA 550. Introduction to related parties. First, we have the related party definition. What are the related parties? Let's say in the organization, management directors have business relationship. They are related parties. Shareholder and the management or TCWG have relationship. They are the related parties. If there is any transaction between them, this is called related party transactions. Why? Because they have relationship. Either the relationship or control is direct or indirect. Let's say the parent company and the subsidiary company and the subsidiary company also have another company which is the subsidiary of the parent company subsidiary company. Parent company means P company has subsidiary S, and this subsidiary has also another subsidiary. Now parent company has indirect relationship in the subsidiary of its subsidiary. Still, if there is any transaction between them, this is called related party transactions. Either direct or indirect interest or influence in any of these entities or between the employees management, they share the common control, common interest. So these are all the related parties, and if there is any transaction, this is called a related party transaction. Let's read the definition. A related party refers to an individual or organizations. It could be a single person or the entire organization with control means parent company or significant influence. Significant influence means when you have less than 50% control or more than 20% significant influence over the entity or those under common control. Common control, the example of the subsidiary to subsidiary. Now, examples of related parties. Please be attentive. These are the examples which your examiner can be tested. Companies within the same group, such as holding companies, subsidiaries, and associated companies. Associated means when you have significant influence, more than 20%, less than 51%. Majority shareholders, directors, key management personnel, and their close relatives, if they have any relationship between them. Other entities controlled by majority shareholders, directors, key management personnel, or their relatives. Either they are individually have the close relationship or there are entities, the entities controlled by these individuals. Now, guys, what are the related party transactions? Related party transactions are business. Transactions occur on the business related things. First, you have learned about the related parties. Now, if there are any transaction between these parties, this is called a related party transaction. Related party transactions are business dealings between the client company and its related party. Client company, let's say the P company, and its related party is the subsidiary company or associated company. Examples of related party transactions: sale or purchase of assets between related parties, receiving or providing services such as consultancy or management services, loans or guarantees provided or received. If you are providing a loan to your related party, so this is the related party transactions. And if your related party is going to acquire the loan from a financial institution, and you being the close relative or the close person have the common direct or indirect control giving the guarantee of this related party to the financial institution, still it is considered under related party transaction. Notes: related party transactions may occur in the ordinary course of business. Ordinary course of business means the normal business, the day-to-day business of the entity, or maybe outside the ordinary course of business. It means the related party transactions can occur in the normal course of business or outside the normal course of business. Means sometimes the entity can also do the transactions which are not the course of business of such entity. Let's say the entity has the business of consultancy services. But now this is the first time that the company is offering inventory to the related party. So this is called related party transactions. Now, if there is any unusual transactions which is outside the normal course of business, these are the significant transactions. In these transactions, you should have to ensure either the transactions are on arm's length basis, mean the transactions which the entity also offers to the general public, either the transactions are or the terms of the transactions are same or not. Is there any specific discount or condition or grant associated to this specific person or entity? So based on these things, you can say that the transactions are on arm's length basis or not. Now, why risk is high in related party transactions? Related party transactions are considered high risk for several reasons. So these are the reasons. Reason number one: complex relationship. Explanation: these transactions often involve intricate relationships and structures that are difficult to track. Yes, if both have the close relationship or there is a related party transaction, then there is a possibility of significant fraud as well. Inherent limitations. Inherent limitation means management may not be aware of all related parties and the entity's information system may fail to identify all related party relationships or transactions. Means there are limitations as well due to which management may not aware of all the related parties. Non-arm's length transactions. Non-arm's length transaction means transactions which are not conducted on the marquee terms and conditions. Mean there is any specific condition attached with this transaction. There should be any specific discount which is solely for that entity or that person. Transactions may not be conducted under normal market conditions, potentially leading to biased or unfair deals. Fraud risk. Management could commit fraud through collusion with related parties. This is called management override of controls, as the management may involve with the related parties in committing the fraud. So this is the fraudulent financial reporting committed by the management with the collusion of the related parties. Now, learning object number two: responsibilities of management and auditor regarding related parties. Now, what are the responsibilities of the management and we as an auditor's responsibility? Management responsibility is to provide auditor with all relevant information requested by the auditor. In case of related party relationship and transactions, management is responsible to provide the auditor with all related party relationship and transaction. When were you assigned to the audit of any entity, you ask the management, please provide us the list of all the related parties, even though the related party disclosure is always given in the notes of the financial statement. But there is a possibility that not all the related parties have been disclosed by the management. So we as an auditor ask the management to provide the list of all the related parties. But if there is any possibility or hint that management may not provide all the related party relationship or transactions, then in the end means once we are closing the report, we obtain written representation. Written representation is always obtained in the end. But what most of the students did, if the examiner asks you to write the procedure, they start their procedures with obtain written representation, even though it is mentioned in the ISA 580 that written representation is not the last resort of audit evidence. Means written representation is always obtained in the end once you are done with all the relevant procedures. So do not start your procedures with the written representation or review of the board minutes meeting. These are the worst procedure that your examiner may give you the mark. So please be attentive. Now guys, back to the related party. Management is responsible to provide the auditor the list of all the related parties. Also, to disclose the auditor if there is any related party transactions between which could be on arm's length or not on the arm's length. Now, what are the responsibilities of the auditor? The auditor responsibility is to obtain the understanding of the transactions or relationship. Either the relationship, what should be the kind of this relationship? Either the transaction is with the company's family, friends, or between the entities' persons. Once understanding is done, then auditor should have to obtain the evidence like what should be the basis of the transaction. Either it's on the arm's length or not on the arm's length. Either the financial statement give true and fair view or not. Let's read the responsibilities of management. If the applicable financial reporting framework, look, applicable financial reporting framework is very important. If the applicable financial reporting framework is not there, so it means the entire data set of the financials are inaccurate. If the applicable financial reporting framework includes related party requirements, management is responsible for identifying, accounting for, and disclosing. Three things: identifying, accounting for, and disclose. Identifying means the management should have to identify all the related parties. Once identify, account for their transactions. After that, disclose in the notes of the financial statement and disclosing related party relationships and transactions in accordance with AFRF, applicable financial reporting framework. In most of the cases, the entities have the associated companies or other entities to whom they have the related party transaction, the transactions between them. Sometimes they borrow the money or they lend the money. Also, there is the common related party transaction, which is director loan account. Most of the entities provide or obtain amount to the directors or from the directors. If you are the working professional, then you have the knowledge about this thing as well. Now, guys, what are the responsibilities, objectives of an auditor? The auditor responsibilities regarding related parties are understanding relationships and transaction. The auditor must gain an understanding of related party relationships and transactions. Why? To assess risk and including risk of fraud. So this is why the related party transactions are significant. Obtaining evidence. The auditor must gather evidence that related party relationships and transactions are identified, approved, accounted for, and disclosed in the financial statement as per the applicable financial reporting framework. The financial statements provide a true and fair view. We have covered this thing in the chapter number 2. The financial statements provide a true and fair view in a fair presentation framework or are not misleading in a compliance framework means it should give you, gives you the true and fair view. Now there is a note. Due to inherent limitations of an audit, the auditor may not detect all related parties or transactions. Yes, why? Because we have been studied from the day one that we as an auditor perform audit based on the sample. If you do not know about the sample, then you can refer my lecture under the AA playlist. There are complete ISA and chapter wise lectures which you guys can watch from the AA playlist. Now guys, there is a small case study. First, read the requirement. State why this should be considered by the auditor. Let's read the case. During your planning meeting with the finance director of Madler Limited for the year ending 31st December 2006, he informed you that his wife, please highlight this thing. He informed you, who informed you? The finance director of the client. An interior designer had provided consultancy services in relation to the refurbishment of the company's head office. Now, guys, what do you think? Why this should be considered by the auditor? Because this is a related party transactions, and related party transactions are always material. They should be approved, identified, accounted for, and disclosed. That's why auditor should have to consider it. Now, learning object number 3, risk assessment procedures and related activities. What are the risk assessment procedures if there is a related party relationship or transaction? What if I ask you about the risk? Please tell me about the assertion based risk. What should be the risk in case of related parties? If you notice in the start, I have mentioned that we as an auditor ask the client or management to provide the complete list of related parties. So there is a risk of understatement, mean there is a possibility that not all the related party relationship or transactions are identified, accounted for, and disclosed. So it means there is a risk of completeness, means not all the related party transactions are completely recorded. To ensure the completeness of related party identification, auditor perform risk assessment procedures as follows. Please be attentive. In the related parties, we have different procedures. So the examiner can ask you the procedure from any stage. So this is stage 1, risk assessment procedures and related activities. Whenever there is a word risk assessment, you have to ensure that you should check the completeness related identification procedure. Procedure and explanation. The procedures are inquiry. Auditor inquires of management regarding identity of related parties, including changes from prior period. Either the related parties are still same or there is any new addition. Nature of relationship with related parties. Either it's a between husband, wife, father, daughter, father, son, or what. It could be any other relationship. Types and purposes of transactions with related parties. Material, it's always material, but you should have to confirm the amount like on the normal course of business or outside the normal course of business. The auditor also inquires about controls, how management identifies, accounts for, and discloses related parties. Either they have proper documentation or what are the parties and how management still know about them. How significant transactions with related parties are approved? Who is the appropriate authority, especially if they are outside the normal course of business? Discussion among the engagement team. Auditor discuss among the engagement team the nature and extent of related party relationship and transactions. The importance of maintaining professional skepticism, indicators that may suggest unidentified related parties. Documents and records that might highlight unidentified related parties. If there are any unidentified related parties, then the document and record should be evaluated. Inspection. The auditor inspect various documents and records to identify potential related parties. For the inspection and for the identification, the best thing is to send the confirmation. If management has given you the list, so you should simply send the confirmation to the related parties. If you got the response, so it means the related parties are there. If not, then you have to perform the other procedures. Now, bank and legal confirmations obtained during audit procedures. Minutes of meetings of shareholders or TCWG. Other documents such as third-party confirmation, shareholder register, tax return. Why shareholder register? Because in the shareholder register you will get the pattern of shareholding. Which person allot how many number of shares. Regulatory filings, internal audit reports, and contract outside the normal course of business. By doing these inspection, you will get the better clarity. Other procedures. The auditor should also inspect previous year's working papers for non-related parties. Inquire of other audit firms involved in group audit. If you are performing the group audit or the group has a subsidiary, then you should have to inquire of other audit firms involved in group audits, if any. Inquire of the predecessor auditor, if any, if this is the first year of your audit and the last year is done by another audit firm, about their knowledge of related parties. Investigate the affiliations of key management or those charged with governance with other entities. Either the upper level management have any relationship with other entities or not. If they have, then what should be their affiliation? Now, guys, learning object number 4, substantive procedures to respond to risk. Once you identify the risk assessment, then now how to respond those risks. If auditor identifies, please be attentive. If auditor identifies related party relationship or transactions not identified by the management, it means if auditor himself identify the related parties not told by the management. When the auditor discovers the related party relationship or transactions not identified by the management, the following steps should be taken. Procedure explanation, communication information, communicate information. Inform other team members so they can assess if risks need to be revised. Inquire and investigate. If the applicable financial reporting framework has related party requirements, inquire why the entity's controls fail to identify or disclose the relationship or transactions. Yes, if the financial statements based on AFRF and there is a requirement of related parties and still the management has failed or did not told you about the related parties, then you can inquire or investigate the reason of not identifying the related party relationship or transaction. Ask management to identify all transactions with the newly discovered related party for further audit evaluation. Once you identify the related parties which management might not told you, once identified, you ask the management to please provide evidence of the transactions occurred between them. Perform substantive procedures. Conduct appropriate procedures on the newly identified related party or significant related party transactions. Reassess completeness. Completeness, why you should reassess completeness? Because still there is a possibility of unrelated parties due to inherent limitation. Considered fraud risk factor. If non-disclosure appears intentional, means the management intentionally is not disclosed it. So you have to re-evaluate the risk of fraud and overall integrity of management may be doubtful. So for the next year assignment, if you are appointed for this engagement again, then you should have to consider this factor as well. Now, if there is a significant transaction outside the normal course of business, mean this is not the client day-to-day business, this is something exceptional. Examples of transactions outside normal course of business. Equity transactions or transactions with offshore companies. Means there is the equity transactions between the parties or offshore company. Offshore you can say the overseas companies. Providing services or property without compensation. You provide your services or property but you have not received anything in return. Why? This is suspicious. Sales with unusual terms such as bulk or large discount, or you have provided the extensive credit period. Transactions with commitment to repurchase. If you are selling anything and there is a repurchase agreement, so it means it's not a sale. So why these transactions? Maybe you need a loan and you declared it as a sale, but still you have the intention to repurchase it once you are in the better financial position. In the professional life, in the professional environment, this is the most repetitive nature of task. Many organizations, if they require funds, they involve in these kind of agreements, repurchase agreements. When such transactions are identified, the auditor should inquire about business rationale, determine the business logic behind the transaction. If a related party is involved, treat it as a significant risk. It means this transaction or this related party transactions is just for the purpose to breach something. That's why there is a significant risk. Inspect contracts agreements. Verify that terms align with management's explanation. The transaction has been authorized appropriately under the law, means all the terms and conditions are appropriate. It is accounted for and disclosed correctly as per AFRF. There are no signs of fraudulent reporting or misappropriation of assets. Now, evaluating the business rationale of transactions. How to evaluate the business rationale of transaction? In evaluating the business rationale of a transaction outside the normal course of business, consider complexity and unusual terms, unusual transactions, and management discussion. Let's read one by one. Complexity and unusual terms. Is the transaction overly complex? Overly complex means either the multiple related parties are involved in this transaction. If the multiple parties are involved in this transaction, then this is also a series of money laundering stage 2 layering. They created a multiple layers. Now it is difficult to reach at the origin of the true source of the transactions. Does it involve unusual terms, pricing, guarantees, unusual transactions? Is there no apparent logical business reason for the transactions? Are there previously unidentified related parties involved? Management discussion. Has management discussed the transactions with those charged with governance? Either the TCWG aware about these transactions or not? Is there more emphasis on accounting treatment rather than the actual economics of transaction? It means either they have record the correct accounting treatment or this is just for the personal benefits. Now, related party with dominant influence. Dominant influence means sometimes the transactions, the related parties may have the significant influence. They are the major shareholders, they are the significant, or they are the major customer, major supplier. So, if this is the case, then there is a significant influence as well. If there is a related party with dominant influence, this is a fraud risk factor. Auditor shall address it in accordance with ISA 240. Why? Because there is a possibility that you have to do something which the related party personnel may want to do by you. Following are the indicators of related party with dominant influence. founder of entity, who is also currently managing the entity. Significant transaction refer to related party for final approval. Related party vetoed significant business decision. Little or no debate on proposals by related party. Transactions involving the related party are not reviewed and approved by others. So these are the cases due to which there is a related party with dominant influence, and this is considered as per ISA 240, which we have covered in the block number 1. Now guys, related party transactions are not appropriately accounted for. It means if the related party transactions are not appropriately accounted for, then what should be the management claim and the auditor's response? If management claims that related party transactions were conducted at arm's length, means on the marquee terms and conditions, the auditor must obtain sufficient audit evidence to support this. Management evidence means management claim. Evidence compare terms. Compare related party transaction terms with marquee terms or similar transactions with unrelated parties. Management told you to please compare the terms offered by us with the marquee terms and conditions. External expert management may engage an expert to confirm the fairness of the transaction terms. Make sure the word is external expert, means it should be independent. Now, what should be the auditor's procedures? Evaluate management's process. Assess how management support their assertion from the terms and conditions till the appointment of the expert. Verify data. Check the accuracy, completeness, and relevance of the data provided. The list and relationship nature of transactions. Evaluate assumptions. Test the reasonableness of any assumptions made by the management. Now there is a case study for 7 marks. This is very important. Discuss your course of action. Course of action means you have to give the implications as well. In the above situation, you are the audit manager on the audit of listed company Kamil Limited. Prior to completion of audit means the audit is not yet completed. You came across a prospectus issued by Neelam Limited, according to which a director of KL is the chief executive of NL. Now, guys, there is a common interest, common control, or relationship between Kamil Limited and Neelam Limited. Why? According to Neelam Limited, director of KL is the chief executive of NL. Means the director, let's say the director is A. A is the director in KL and also the CEO in the NL. Now, guys, there is a control, there is a relationship between these two entities. Why? Due to common personnel, which is KL director. Now, however, the name of NL was not included in the list of related parties provided by KL. KL is your client and you are the audit manager. You asked the KL to please provide me all the list of related parties. Even though KL director is also the CEO of NL, still the list of NL means in the list of related parties the NL name is not mentioned, so it means the related party transactions identified by the auditor but not identified by the management. So in this case you have to write those procedures, but do not just copy and paste it. The procedure should be case specific. Case specific means you should have to use the wording mentioned in this case study. Then only you will secure your marks. Once you write the procedure, then you should have to write the course of action. Course of action in this case, you have to write if management correct, means management provide you the correct list of related parties. So it means there is no misstatement. If the management is not correct, it means still the management omitted the accounting and disclosure of the related party, which is Neelam Limited. So there is a misstatement. Even though the amount is small, still the related party transactions are material. So how you have to write your answer? Also, you should have to talk about the CAM. Why? Because this is the listed company, and in the listed company, key audit matter should be included. Now, learning object number 5, implications on report. First, we cover about the evaluation of control. If the auditor determines that controls over related party transactions are ineffective, this could result in a scope limitation. Implication: the auditor may issue a qualified opinion or a disclaimer of opinion. Now, you can ask a question. In the start, you have told us that we as an auditor should not express the opinion on the control. Yes, still I am saying we as an auditor should not provide the opinion on the ineffective, means if the client's controls are ineffective, are weak, we just give the recommendation, we did not express the opinion. So now what I am saying, if the auditor determines that controls over related party transactions, guys, you have to understand the significance of the related parties. Related party transactions are always material even if the amount is zero. Related party transactions should be disclosed in the notes of the financial statement. Control over related party means if there is no check and balance, any person or entity, employee, management, key personnel can be involved or included in the related party relationship or transaction. So it means there is a control weakness. And due to this, the related party transactions may manipulate the financial figures. So this control is about the related party, which is the significant material, which has the significant risk. That's why based on that, this is the scope limitation, and you have to issue a qualified or disclaimer of opinion. Disclosure issues. Related party transactions are material by nature, even if the monetary amount is small, means zero. If related party transaction is not disclosed or the disclosure is inadequate, means not accurate or appropriate, it is considered a misstatement. Implication: the auditor may issue a qualified opinion if effect is material or adverse if pervasive. Now, representations about related parties. The thing which I have mentioned in the start. This is the last resort, written representation in the end, once you are done with all the procedures. Look how this standard is defined in the sequence. First, we start with the definition, then why related parties are important, why auditors should have to identify or obtain the list from the management. After that, the responsibilities of the management and auditor. If the related parties are identified by the auditor, not by the management, then significant influence. So these are the things. If the standard gives you all the information in the sequence, so guys, you should have to follow it. Do not start your procedure with the written representation. It is the last resort. Written representation from management. The auditor must obtain WC from management that all related party relationship and transactions have been appropriately accounted for and disclosed. Management has disclosed the identity of related parties and all related party transactions of which they are aware. These are the things written in the written representation, and we obtain it from the management. How we obtain it? Management should sign on this confirmation. Now, written representation from TCWG. There are some cases in which you have to obtain the WC from TCWG as well. In some cases, the auditor may also obtain WR from TCWG, particularly when they have approved significant related party transactions. If the TCWG, the directors have approved the significant related party transactions that materially affect the financial statements or involve management. If there is any related party transactions in which management is involved, and approved by the TCWG, then we should have to obtain the written representation from TCWG. They have financial or other interest, means TCWG have financial interest or other in related parties or transactions. TCWG have made specific oral representation to the auditor about the details of related party transactions. We all know oral representation or oral or verbal evidence are not sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. It should always be in written form. So that's it, guys, for ISA 550 ISA 550 related party relationship and transaction. Now, if any of you face any difficulty or if you have any query like how we will proceed with the AAA exam, if you are a first time student who are preparing the AAA, or if you have already prepared AAA in your previous attempts, but due to unforeseen circumstances or unfortunately you have not made it last time, still you have time. Do not waste your precious time. Do not wait for your results. Just start this exam. You will made it in the December. Or if there are any students who want to appear in this exam in the March, still you have plenty of time, but do not waste it by just considering that we will start after the December. Trust me, guys, this exam, this paper is not that much complex or difficult. But what are the major reasons of the failure of the students in this exam? The lack of concepts and the lack of practice. If you do not have the proper concept clarity, then how would you produce your answer? How would you write your answer? Of course, you will lack in the drafting. So the time management skill is not just about the writing speed. If you do not know what to deliver and how to deliver, then how would you ensure that you have a great time management skills? So it not like that the time management is the sole skills. Time management is or should be improved if you have a proper knowledge about the concept. If you have the knowledge of any topic and that topic will come in your exam, so once you start reading the question paper, your mind will give you the idea, the link. Yeah, you have studied this thing. Then suddenly you start brainstorming the answer. Once you do that, then you should have to write your thinking, the logic in your exam paper. So by this, your time management skills will also help you. So please do not be fantasized by the word time management skills. If you do not know about the content, then of course time management will not help you. So please make sure you have the proper understanding or the concept clarity of all the AAA topics. Then you should do the past paper questions. If you want to join the test series, please comment down. I will add you in the WhatsApp group as well. I have a proper case study on each topics. There are case studies which have not yet been tested by the ACCA. Those case studies solely based on the professional and practical life. So if any of you want to join in the test series, then please comment down. Till then, take care and goodbye.